Est-ce qu'on peut nettoyer ça? Damn. J'ai toutes sortes de problèmes là. On peut nettoyer un peu. Je pense on va quand même ramener un peu de clarity. Ok. That's the one. Salut les gars. État de droit au Cameroun. Parlons-en. État de droit au Cameroun. Parlons-en. De quoi s'agit-il? Les gars, depuis le début de la semaine, j'ai fait une vidéo pour essayer d'attirer l'attention des gens, des combattants sur la marche du 22. Washington Game Over 22. Et je voulais que les combattants essayent d'abandonner cette guéguerre, cette fausse confrontation, bien ce Congo-ça qui semble avoir pris une place très importante dans la révolution, alors qu'il ne nous sert à rien en réalité. Alors, Pascal Siakam, c'est un Camerounais qui est le premier Camerounais d'ailleurs à être champion NBA. Ça, c'est aux États-Unis. Et apparemment, les Sardinas disent qu'il est Camerounais. Oh non, mais non, nous disons qu'il est Camerounais. Mais est-ce que les Sardinas doivent aussi dire qu'il est Camerounais? Moi, je suis britannique. Alors, Pascal Siakam, qui a la nationalité américaine, bizarrement, lui, il est Camerounais. Moi, je ne suis pas Camerounais. Pascal Siakam est Camerounais. On appelle cela la nationalité sélective. La nationalité sélective, c'est celle qu'on donne au Matip, Samuel Eto'o, à tous les autres personnes en fonction de leur gré, en fait. Parfois en fonction des services rendus à la nation, nous dit-on. Mais ceci dans un état de droit. Ce qu'on essaye de nous décrire comme un état de droit, moi franchement, je ne comprends rien là-dedans. J'ai rien compris. État de droit dans lequel il y a certains Camerounais qui ont des passeports étrangers. Et ça, c'est normal, c'est l'état de droit. On appelle cela comment? C'est le Wandafukistan. Il n'y a rien qui vous surprend dans ce pays. Donc voilà donc ce jeune, nous l'appelons jeune Camerounais parce que d'après nous, la nationalité camerounaise, je ne sais même pas si elle s'acquiert, hein, parce que on n'a pas souvent vu des cérémonies n'est-ce pas, de reconnaissance de nationalité ou bien de cérémonie où on prenait la nationalité, d'obtention de nationalité et tout ça. On n'en a pas vu au Cameroun. Bon, peut-être qu'il y en a en catimini et tout ça. La loi doit sûrement prévoir quelque chose comme ça. Mais bon, là n'est pas le problème. Le problème, c'est que quand on est étranger, et ici même, parfois des enfants qui sont nés, des gens qui sont nés aux États-Unis, il y en a même qui sont nés ailleurs, en France, en Angleterre, mais dès qu'ils deviennent, comment je vais dire, populaires ou bien ils deviennent des stars comme les Mbappé, on dit ah mais c'est un Camerounais. On dit oui, c'est un Camerounais. Mais moi, comme je ne leur sers à rien, comme je ne sers à rien leurs intérêts de propagande ou même pour faire je ne suis pas sardinard, je ne fais pas la propagande des sardinards, donc en réalité je ne suis pas Camerounais. Dites-leur que je suis britannique alors. Dites-le leur. Ce problème de nationalité sélective, c'est un problème fondamental au Cameroun. C'est un problème fondamental. Fondamental pourquoi? Parce que vous voyez des gens où on nous dit, on nous chante tous les jours qu'on est dans un état de droit. Mais on est dans la même situation. Certains semblent avoir plus de droits que d'autres. Et on nous dit état de droit. Alors, est-ce que c'est l'état de droit qui fait en sorte que... Vous allez m'excuser dans un instant. J'ai des ordures. La poubelle active. Vous allez m'excuser un instant. Partagez le direct s'il vous plaît. Je vais parler également de la marche du 22 et du Congossa Unity auquel on fait face depuis le début depuis la fin de la marche du 18 là. Salut, partagez le direct s'il vous plaît. Partagez le direct s'il vous plaît. Alors je disais tantôt que depuis la fin, ou même un peu avant la marche du 18, il y a un certain Congossa qui s'est lancé, qui a été jeté sur la scène, n'est-ce pas, de la révolution, sur les différents blogs ou sur les différentes tribunes et les différents débats d'ailleurs réservés à la révolution. Moi je dis ceci. En quoi est-ce que cela profite aux filles camerounaises là qui se prostituent à 200 francs? En quoi est-ce que cela profite au bébé de 4 mois qui s'est fait tirer une balle dans la tête? Voilà les questions pertinentes qu'on doit se poser. Lorsque nous quittons, n'est-ce pas, le chemin du combat pour se retrouver dans une posture de retourner les armes contre nos anciens compères ou bien nos camarades d'armes, les camarades de la révolution, comment est-ce qu'on appelle cela? C'est quoi? Quel est l'objectif? Quel est en fait le but? À quel jeu est-ce qu'on joue? Mais c'est une moquerie simplement. Pendant ce temps, il y a près de 500 prisonniers politiques, parmi lesquels des hommes, des femmes, des enfants qui ont des boulots, qui ont abandonné leur boulot, qui ont d'ailleurs perdu leur boulot pour certains, qui ont perdu leur boulot, pour qui ont perdu leur maison, qui sont à Neubel. Nous sommes là à parler des affaires qui ne profitent en rien la révolution. Alors qu'il y a le 22. Est-ce que ce n'est pas une campagne de sabotage bien orchestrée pour le 22 mai et le 22 juin? Vu, n'est-ce pas, le succès qu'a eu la marche du 18. On doit se poser bien cette question. Est-ce que ce n'est pas une façon, n'est-ce pas, de distraire? Et ce n'est pas une façon de distraire la révolution, alors qu'on ne fait que nous acculer, on ne fait que donner, n'est-ce pas, des coups. Nous ne faisons que prendre des coups. Ces derniers temps, on prend des coups, n'est-ce pas, avec les gens qui se font arrêter, les combattants, les interdictions des marches, la restriction sur les libertés, n'est-ce pas, les libertés d'expression. Paul Tchouta emprisonné pour des raisons fallacieuses de diffamation. dont on ne sait franchement pas quel est le contenu de cette diffamation. Et la personne diffamée elle-même étant, comment on peut dire, c'est-à-dire le maître chanteur, ou alors le maître même de la diffamation au Cameroun, au nom de Calix Biala. Comment est-ce que nous pouvons nous détourner du combat et nous concentrer à nous faire une espèce de chantage, de commérage? C'est quoi le but en fait? Les gars, bougeons. Mais moi, je ne condamne pas ceux qui font cela. Je condamne plutôt ceux qui les suivent. Je condamne plutôt les suiveurs. Je condamne plutôt les gens qui écoutent les vidéos. Vous voyez là, il n'y en a que 4 personnes, 4-5 personnes qui sont connectées. Mais lorsqu'il y a un sujet comme celui-là, et c'est ça le problème du Cameroun et des Camerounais, c'est que des sujets de distraction, les affaires de sang calisson, les affaires de commérage d'argent, d'arnaque, ce sont des affaires comme ça qui drainent les foules, qui amènent les foules, qui, n'est-ce pas, rassemblent du monde. Mais lorsque vous parlez d'un sujet pertinent, de quelque chose de constructif, il y a très peu de personnes qui sont intéressées. C'est donc pour dire que ceux des combattants qui écoutent ces directs-là, c'est à vous la faute. C'est vous qui devez, n'est-ce pas, abandonner ces personnes qui font des directs, qui ne se focalisent pas sur la révolution. Ces directs à la con, là, je vais dire, ces directs du commérage, là, franchement, les gars, ne vous intéressez plus à cela. La marche du 22, game over. C'est ce qui devait être, n'est-ce pas, notre nourriture matin, midi et soir. Le matin, à midi et le soir. Partagez le direct, s'il vous plaît. J'ai parlé en début de semaine de l'opération boycott Western Union. Oui, j'ai parlé de l'opération boycott Western Union. Il n'y a pas eu beaucoup de monde l'attitude des Camerounais sur l'efficacité de notre combat. Pierre Choutezo qui dit il est d'accord sur le message à propos de l'attitude des Camerounais sur le combat. Ça fait mal, ça fait mal. J'ai eu des échos venant du pays. J'ai fait des suggestions régulièrement. J'ai dit aux gars, et j'ai été l'un des advocateurs, l'un des initiateurs, n'est-ce pas, de ce projet-là, de dire aux gars, lorsque vous faites des directs, soyons un peu, comment je peux dire, soyons un peu, je vais dire, on peut être consistant, on peut être constant, on peut être, je veux dire qu'il faut être, quel est le vrai terme qu'il faut mettre à cette place-là? C'est-à-dire qu'on ait le même planning tout le temps, qu'on ait la même procédure tout le temps. J'avais suggéré, n'est-ce pas, qu'en faisant les directs, qu'on puisse y mettre des langues vernaculaires, qu'on puisse parler en langue vernaculaire. Ça, c'est un problème. L'autre problème, c'est qu'on puisse parler en anglais. When we are doing live videos, we have to speak in English. So that the English-speaking people, c'est une grosse erreur. On ne s'adresse pas seulement aux English-speaking people. Combien de personnes parlent le français dans le monde? How many people speak French in the world? How many people understand English? So that's the problem. So if we are making this revolution, if we want to make this revolution work, and that we cannot speak in English, so that the world, the wide world, the whole wide world cannot understand what we are saying. Because what we fail to comprehend is that people who speak Spanish, some of them speak English. English is the international language. It's the one for business and it's the one for trade. English is the language that most people in the world, it's a diplomatic language. Most people in the world will speak English. So, when we speak in English, talking about the revolution, we're not only addressing our message to the people from the southern Cameroon. We're not only addressing the message to the people in Cameroon who speak and understand English. We are addressing the message beyond that spectrum. We are addressing the message to the wider world. We are addressing the message beyond our boundaries, beyond our borders. We are addressing the message to the Americans, to the Canadians, to the Australians, to the English, to the Englishman, to the British, to the Australians, the Canadians, the Germans, the Italians, the Swiss, the Romanians, the Russians, the Swedish. We are addressing the message to all those people. But again and again, we just fail to do that. Again and again, we just fail. Even people who are in English-speaking countries, they only speak in their videos in French, which is a problem. When I speak in French, if Barack Obama just follows on my video, does he speak French? No. Is he going to find it interesting? No. If he's in English, then he's going to pick on that. He's going to understand the message. And he's more likely to support the cause that we're defending, or to understand the fight that we are actually taking part in. So, dear fighters, it's about time we forget about these quarrels, these Congosa, these infighting between different fighters, between different people, whether they are in the revolution or used to be in the revolution. Do not reply to attacks. We have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of things to talk about. We have the 22nd of June, the Operation Game Over. We have the 22nd of June to publicize, to advertise, to mention, to discuss. But here we are talking about issues that does not help the 500 Cameroonians that have been kidnapped and put in Kondengi prison in Yaoundé. It does not help that 4-month-old baby that got shot in the head the other day. It does not help any of the English-speaking people who are actually refugees in the bushes in Nigeria. So we have to think. This revolution is not a joke. We are sacrificing our lives to make this revolution work. Some of us are not allowed to go back home. Most of us are not allowed to go back home. Because if they do go back home, they may risk being killed, or at the very least being arrested and sent to jail. So when people sit there and think that it's a, you know, it's a picnic, or it's actually people just having fun or playing games. The revolution is not games. The revolution is not quarrels. The revolution is not a joke. It's about time we take this seriously. It's about time we engage in the fight for which the people have given us their mandate. I spoke to people in Cameroon, and it's quite clear that the messages that we are trying to send do not quite reach the base. There are still people who believe more in the message sent by the regime other than the message sent by the revolution. We want to be able to have people on the ground in Cameroon believing and spreading the message of the revolution, rather than saying it's a plot against Cameroon, is an attack against our sovereignty, is a meddling in our internal affairs and stuff like that. We have people on the ground who are not yet engaged in the fight, in the revolution. We have to make sure that the message gets to them. And to do so, I suggested a couple of months ago now that we should be speaking in our mother tongue. Each time we make a live video, we have to invite people before they finish to say something in their mother tongue. But the fighters, the bloggers, the leaders have not been following that message, or they've not been implementing that. And that is a problem. It is a big problem. And for as long as we're not going to do that, we will fail with this revolution. We have to be able to get people to identify themselves to the fight that we're doing. They are giving them the wrong messages over there. They are telling them that this is for people, Bamileke people. They are telling them that Bamileke people should never rule in Cameroon. How foolish is that? The Jewish people are the one that are ruling the world. They might not be directly in power, but they're the one through their money, through their knowledge, through their perseverance, through their ingenuity, through their hardship. They are actually running the world. And what's wrong with that? Not much. They build, they invest, and they create wealth. So if we have people like Bamileke people, who are good in doing those things, like Jewish people, why should we not praise them? What kind of country is this? What kind of country do we want to build? Is it a country where we just praise people who fail? We just praise people who do the wrong things, and that those who are brilliant, those who are doing positive things, we can't praise them at all? Which kind of country is this that we're trying to build? Which kind of a society is this that we are trying to build? There we are again, with some people in the regime calling the revolution an affair for Bamileke people, calling the revolution a fight for a tribe, for one tribe, calling the revolution a struggle for one region, which is false. Completely false. Have you got clean running water? Have you got electricity in your house? Have you got roads? Have you got hospitals? Can you get treated when you have cancer? Can you get treated when you have tuberculosis? Can you get treated when you have even malaria? Can you get treated when you have HIV? Can you get treated when you have heart failure? Can you get treated when you just suffered an accident on the road? Probably not. And this is for all Cameroonians. And yet, we have people believing in the false messages, in the lies spread by this regime, this barbaric regime in Yaoundé, Cameroon. People who are telling them that the problem that you see in the northwest and the southwest is because of foreign intervention. When they did not engage in a dialogue with the people, when the people 3 years ago were asking for dialogue, they were saying that they do not want to dialogue with anybody. The government was responding to the calls for dialogue by violence. And today, we have a full-fledged war in that part of the country. And the economy has collapsed, literally. The Cameroon economy has collapsed. Now it's the French government that is helping the Cameroon authorities to pay the wages for the civil servant, the soldiers, and men in uniform in general. For how long are we going to be able to afford that? Not for very long. But in order to get a change that we need, in order to save our brothers that are in prison, we need to rise up. Not one, not two. They cannot arrest everybody because they've not got detention facilities for everybody. They've not even built prison. This is how incompetent these guys were. This is how stubborn and stupid these guys were. Excuse me. They did not even think about building the prisons. They did not think about building the prison, the very things that will help them solidify their dictatorship. And yet they are here now, arresting people left, right, and center, sending them to jail in the hope that this revolution will be quelled, or this revolution will be tarnished, or the revolution would be finished. None of that. The revolution will just get stronger and stronger. So we tell this illegal and illegitimate regime that the government and the true authorities of Cameroon, the true president of Cameroon, is His Excellency Mr. Maurice Kamto. You've locked him up. But he's going to come out and claim that power. He's going to come out and kick you guys out of that power. So the people of Cameroon have to rise. It's for their freedom. If I'm in prison, if I'm, inside, for example, if I'm locked or stuck in a big hole, someone comes in there, they send me a rope, trying to help me to get out. And I said to them, no, it's too risky for me to get on the rope. I think you need to come down, come in here, and then help me to get out. So the two of them, they go down. And what if the two of them can't get out? Who is out there to help them get out? Nobody. So guys, you have to be wise. You have to use your wisdom and your knowledge, your experience, to understand that this regime must go. Biya must go. That is our only fight. Biya dégage. We've had enough with this guy. He must go. The international community are talking a lot about Sudan because protesters have been beaten up, they've been attacked, they've been killed. And the international community is talking about this. But this is double standard, because the same thing happened in Cameroon and it continues to happen in Cameroon. But the international community is not really talking about this, because somehow they've abandoned Cameroon in the hands of the dictatorship of Mr. Biya, with the help of the French authorities. But the Cameroon people are capable of freeing themselves. The Cameroon people have the knowledge and the wisdom to free themselves. Why are they being animated by fear? Why are they intimidated by the calls made by this rogue regime? Guys, we need to come out. And the 22nd of June is the day when we need to come out. The 22nd of June is the D-Day. So guys, if you've not paid your ticket yet, do this. Pay for your ticket now and go to Washington, D.C. to demand freedom, more freedom, to demand more right, to demand that democracy should be reinstated in Cameroon, to demand that Mr. Biya and his regime must go and they will be judged. So that's all I have for you today for this mini conference. I thank you all for being here with me, and I shall see you soon. It was Mr. Banen Deyingi. Don't forget the big march on the 22nd of June 2019. But I also forget one subject. I was talking about the nationality. Pascal Siakam, this American basketball player who happens to have his origin in Cameroon, or that his parents are from Cameroon, and the authorities or the government or the pro-Sardina people call him Cameroonian. Why? Because they have a selective way of recognizing or appreciating things. So for somebody like me, who's got a British passport and born in Cameroon, grown in Cameroon until I was at least the age of 21, no, I'm not Cameroonian. I'm not Cameroonian. Because somehow some people there are the one who decide. They can also decide that another friend of mine who is not a critic of the regime, and who's not got any pictures, any sort of link with the regime, those people are not considered. In fact, the regime will try to tarnish their reputation. So this infight that's happening here between certain people and the revolution is damaging in a sense that it distracts us from the main issues that we should be discussing. We should be discussing our political prisoners, or whatever, the people who've been kidnapped and kept in jail. We should be discussing about the killings of babies, the killings of protesters. We should be discussing about the electoral hold-up. We should be discussing about the African Cup of Nations that was withdrawn from Cameroon. But instead, we're talking about relationship problems, people's behavior in the private life, etc., etc. I think we owe the Cameroon people a certain level of responsibility, a certain level of trust. The Cameroon people are suffering in their core, and they are suffering every day. We have to free them from this suffering. That's all I had for you today. It was Mr. Banen De Yingui. Thank you. Bye-bye. Abel Fwobe, hi. Melon Yuba, hi. Kwalai Mbeka, my brother, hi. So that's it for tonight on this broadcast, discussing some important issues in relation to the revolution and the strategy. I started the campaign Biya Dégage, which is in English Biya Must Go. We have to think about those strategy that I try to put in a public domain. I talked about the boycott of Western Union, but nobody has actually come up with something better. And nobody has actually sat down and said that the government should sit down, or civil society sitting down and discussing and running a reflection on these, particular things. So I thank you all for listening to this broadcast today and for sharing the video. I shall speak to you soon. Thank you very much, Mr. Banen De Yingui. I will speak to you soon in my next video. Bye-bye.